What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our Surviving Java series. And as you can probably tell, we are now finally done clearing out this forever going quad witch hut project. Mac's actually been on after me after I've run the TNT dupers. I've just started to tear them down as well. But he actually came on and he started picking up all of the water, he patched in all of the walls, and he also went... Initially I thought I had activated some weird bounding box feature with Mini HUD with these purple boxes, but he actually came on and done the bounding boxes in purple concrete, so we knew exactly where to sort of work with regarding the actual witch huts themselves, which is extremely handy. He also patched up all the walls and he picked up all of the water. He then started clearing all of the sand from the outer edge, which is extremely handy because it's a very tedious task. It took me ages taking away the obsidian pillar at the back, and now I'm having to go through and dismantle all the TNT dupers and carpet bombers, hoping to recuperate like some of the materials. Obviously slime blocks were not obviously in much need of, but observers and pistons are a bit of a pain to have to constantly make over and over. But nevertheless, I was planning on hoping to start this project obviously after having cleared it all out, but I know for a fact that rather than having the roofs over each one, I definitely want to utilise the tinted glass just for a more cosmetic pleasing look. But I blew through my entire tinted glass supply doing the expansion on the drown farm, which took forever. Have I got... Okay, yeah, this is where I've been collecting all of the resources. That can just stay there where I was picking up the carpet bombers. Anything else on me that I need to get rid of? These observers can go in here. This is just all the random stuff that we were using in order to clear the area. So we've got like sponges and buckets for the lava and whatnot that was spilling everywhere. But yeah, we're going to have a break from this area. Like each time I start an episode, I spend the better part of about 4 hours over here running carpet bombers. Like building them, running them, and then clearing up after them. But yeah, we're going to sort of venture away from there, and we're actually going to work on something that's been nagging at me personally for like the better part of 8-9 months. It's another one of them projects that I started and just never got round to actually finishing, and it's just because I go there fairly regularly, it's just starting to nudge at my mental willpower to just block it out, and yeah, it's just getting way too much for me to be able to handle. That is nevertheless going to be the main zoo building that we built right at the beginning of this season. Like, that's nearly a year ago to come to think of it. It's like, it was one of the first things I built on the server. I'm not sure if it was before I built my tree house. I think it was like the first thing I built, and I've just not finished the interior of it. I don't know what... I really need to do something, because trying to get back up to the surface from my portal seems to take forever, as you can probably tell. But yeah, let's head over to the main zoo building, which is in this direction, and then we can see what it is I actually want to do with it. I did actually make some changes. Like, I constantly do bits and pieces in the background on here that I don't bother recording. Like, one of them is the pathway laying out. I don't think I've really recorded any of that. We've not laid any of the paths yet, but this building has rather needed an interior. And we actually went around and mapped out the entire jungle area that's got everything on it. I don't know if I've showed this before. You've got like the main zoo building, the polar bear enclosure. This is the farmyard expansion. My tree area is over there with my little lake. You've got side space over here, sizzle space, which is over here. Max is way down to the south over here. Ravager cage here. You've got the villager breeded there. What else have we got over here? We've got the drowned farm as well as the budget tree farm. Our slime farms in this area. And then I did update the map in order to get the farmyard on here, and then we've sort of got the outline of where our pathways are going. So it comes up here, around here, leads up. We've not cleared the forest between this area and size. Then you've got a pathway that leads over to Cloud space. But yeah, I actually want to do something in here. I don't know what I want to do with the ocelots, but nevertheless, I've come up with a sort of design. So you walk in here and it's sort of like a bottomless pit thing that you sort of walk over, and you've got a storage section on the left, storage section on the right, and then bulk storage down below. I've not really done anything for the top end of it, but I think after I get this bottom section sort of done and built, then the top section we can sort of chip away at in between episodes, and I'll give you updates as to the way it looks. But what we can do now is, in very old fashion of mine, is jump into a time lapse in order to get a lot of work done in a very small amount of time. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you after a time lapse. Alright then guys, so after that very lengthy time, it took around about 3 hours in total to do the interior, and I did actually have help from Clowd. He came along after finishing one of his builds to come over and assist me doing the interior, just to try to get it done. And then after that I spent some time doing this, or reworking this map in order to include Cloud's new build, which is all the way over on the east. It took me about an hour because I had to rotate it 3 times all the way around in order to make sure that it was matching up with our main map. So obviously we've got our main map here of the jungle, and I wanted it to be in the right direction because it was actually facing eastwards for some reason. I think I might have accidentally rotated the first initial map and then sort of just ran with it, and the entire map was off. So it took some time to get that all put back into place. So down here we've got the drowned farm and the budget tree farm, cloud space which is up there, sizzle space up there, side spaces in the water, my tree area, the main zoo building, centre of mass, Ravager pen, that's Cloud's build. I won't go over there in this episode, so I don't know when he's releasing that one. Halloween area and so on and so forth, but nevertheless the interior is now done, although it's not completely done. If we go in, so we've got the bottomless pit here, which we've done the fog effect floor that leads sort of to black concrete, just to give it a lot more sort of depth to the build as you come in, a lot more sort of ominous. And then we got rid of all of the back storage that was up there, and we've moved it down into 2 separate pods. So over this side is your standard sort of block building materials, so your stones, cobblestone, deep slate, your granite, diorite, and so on and so forth. And we've got a bunch of crafting benches, as well as the ender chests and smithy tables. Now in each corner we've got an up and down elevator system, which works excellently, and then in the centre of either side we've got a very long bubble column system that takes you up onto the roof, so that way you can fly back out quite easily. And it does come together very, very nicely. I'm happy with it, and the colours and the block palettes used, and we've got like little decorations in the water. I do actually have to replace the bottom ground and probably put some more depth in the water. And then back here we've got a bunch of room to do whatever we want to do. That's where the initial platform was for the storage. Well, I actually do need to tear that down. What I'm thinking about doing back here in between episodes is doing shulker loaders for mined materials. So that way if we do like a mining spree, we could come over and just throw it into this area to be sorted, because this is like communal use for any projects that include the jungle, sort of like zoo projects. So we've got like mushroom blocks, our terracotta, which is just ram full of different coloured terracotta. And then we've got our wall one, which we've got a bunch of different coloured walls, empty shulkers, lights, glass. We've got a whole ton of glass over here. And the majority of these like resources are leftover resources wherever I sort of do a project, and I tend to always gather like items by the shulker load as opposed to grabbing just what I need for the project. I'll be like, oh well, I need like 9 stacks of deep slate, so then I'll go deep slate mining and I'll get an entire shulker. So we end up just having a lot of excess resources, but it's handy for other people that want to sort of work on projects like around the jungle. They've got access to pretty much whatever they want over here. It's all like fair game to come over here and grab whatever you need. But we are left with the issue that we've got a big open space at the back, and I was sort of in an RN as to what it is I wanted to do with it. And then I spent some time in creative, and I've created a sort of fossil which I'm happy with. Now bear in mind, I am not confident when it comes to natural formations within Minecraft. The sort of square blocks do not lend very easily to making natural looking shapes. So I've done the best that I could, especially with the limited room that we've got here. So what we'll do is jump into time lapse of me doing it, and then once it's done, I also want to do some sort of overgrown vegetation at the back that sort of goes over the fossil. Initially I was like thinking about doing it like a museum sort of display, and then having it propped up on like chains, and then the actual area sort of outlined by a cordon of ropes or more chains, something like that. But I think I want to just go for the more overgrown look, considering that's the look that we've gone for the rest of it. And we've changed our beacon as well from mining to speed, just because there's very little digging to do in this area anymore. So it's just mainly in order to get around a lot quicker. Speed just lends a lot better. But yeah, let's jump straight into this time lapse, and hopefully you like what I've come up with. So yeah, catch you back after that. Oh my god. Alright then guys, so hopefully you like the way that this has come out. I've gone for the very sort of overgrown look over it, but we have actually managed to do a smallish version of a dragon skull. Considering like the biggest beast in the game is meant to be the ender dragon, I thought trying to attempt to do a dragon skeleton inside of here would fit nicely, considering there's no way in hell we are able to capture an ender dragon for the zoo project. So I thought having the remains of the numerous ones that we have actually killed during this season. And then I've done a bunch of like overhanging leaves. I've done the ribcage with the tail spiraling around. Initially I did just have the head, and I was just going to have the head behind the pillar, but then the pillar was hiding it and it didn't look good. And if I had one to one side, I didn't know what to have on the other side, so I thought just to do the actual skeleton sort of wrapping around, and then sort of make it overgrown to suit the jungle theme. It will look a little bit better once the glowberries grow a little bit further and the vines start taking hold. The vines are just on a few of the leaf blocks here and there, so that way they'll start hanging down, and I will have to stay on top of them to sort of trim them as they sort of grow, because obviously we don't want it completely encompassing the entire thing. We've got vines coming down here, got some vines coming down there, got some vines on one of the actual rib cages there. I didn't want to overshadow the actual skull, so I've tried to leave this area open a little bit more than the rest of it. But yeah, nevertheless, that is more than enough for today's episode. We finished clearing the witch hut area, we redone the entire interior of this area, as well as organised all of the chests, and added a key feature that you sort of get to see as soon as you walk in, which is a giant big skeleton, which sort of matches the Jurassic Park theme. Like when you first come into the visitor centre in the actual movie, you've got the big T-Rex skeleton, like the museum piece, standing in the middle. So I thought having a skeletal remains inside of here would sort of tie in nicely with the theme of the build as well. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.